Hi, folks. Welcome to the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki. This is something of a post-Christmas miracle. You don't know what has gone into trying to do this little video right now, but technically I'm not even online, which is amazing because Doug Tallamy is there with me. I can see him. I can hear him. And folks who don't know Doug, you should. He has written a number of books that have, well, this one changed my life, Bringing Nature Home. How native plants sustain wildlife in our gardens. Then he followed it up with Nature's Best Hope. Well, actually, you did another one in between there, but then Nature's Best Hope. And they still have all the sticky tabs in, as you can see. And now here's his latest, The Nature of Oaks, which I'm about halfway through and loving every page of it, Doug. And it doesn't surprise me that you're writing about oaks because the books you've written in the past talk about what plants benefit our wildlife, especially our insects, the most, and all the arrows point to oaks, don't they?
They do. Oaks are what we call keystone species, meaning they're supporting more life than any other tree genus, at least in North America. So if you take oaks out of your local ecosystem, the food web often collapses. We found out that just 14% of our native plants are supporting 90% of the caterpillars that drive food webs, and oaks are supporting most of those. So that's why we call them keystone plants. They're the best plant you can put in your yard in terms of supporting wildlife in 84% of the counties of North America.
That is just stunning. And my question was, why? Why is this like this? And you actually addressed that in your latest book. And it has to do with the range of oaks. It has to do with the longevity of oaks. And as you point out, which is also very, very important, sometimes it's all of the above, and sometimes we just don't know. And that's the nature of science, isn't it?
That's right. These are all hypotheses, and they're not mutually exclusive. So several things can be happening at the same time. It's a large genus. There's a number of plants. It's got a huge range, from Southeast Asia all the way across North America, Eurasia, North America, Central America, even into northern South America. They're large, long-lived trees, so there's plenty of time for things to adapt to them. And their defense is, it's apparently pretty easy to get around. They use tannins as a defense, and that slows. It's not a toxin. It slows digestion, makes it difficult to digest protein. But apparently insects are pretty good at getting around that. So all those things combined mean that they're supporting an awful lot of life.
Well, and as you point out, it's a little easier to get around that than it is, say, the substances in milkweed that the monarchs have adapted to.
Right, right. Yeah, we call them quantitative defenses versus qualitative defenses. Qualitative defenses are poison. I mean, you can either handle it or you can't. And,
right.
And if you can't, you're dead. Quantitative defenses, you can eat them. It doesn't poison you. It just kind of slows you down. So.
Well, I don't eat a lot of oak leaves lately anyway, although I might add them to my cereal on occasion. By the way, you should know that Doug Tallamy, and I hope you don't mind I call you Doug, because you seem to go by that. Rather than Douglas W. Tallamy, is a professor and chair of the Department of Entomology and Wildlife Ecology at the University of Delaware in Newark, Delaware. The other thing, so we're going to talk about the idea of how we protect our insects.
I'm not the chair anymore, so you have to eliminate that.
Oh no!
I was a chair for 11 years and no more chair. So.
Oh, good for you. You need time to write the books, obviously. All right, so he's not the chair anymore. That was from Bringing Nature Home. That was the one I found really quickly here. And I will make sure I don't say that in my blog post when I put it up there. So the idea is we're going to be talking about insects and how valuable they are, but so are our green areas. Some of them are natural areas, some of them are created, but you are a proponent of something called Homegrown National Park. Can you tell me in 30 seconds what Homegrown National Park is?
Homegrown National Park is our attempt at social media to get the idea that conservation in the future is going to happen outside of official parks. It's going to be on private land. I mean, if conservation in official parks was working, we wouldn't be in the 6th grade extinction right now. So we have to do conservation on private property, and that's all the places in between those parks and preserves. It's going to be a grassroots movement because everybody owns that property. Everybody's responsible for Earth stewardship. So this is sending the message with a visual map. You put yourself on the map, and then we can see the U.S. light up as everybody gets this message. We all are responsible for Earth stewardship. That's the 30-second.
It's great. I love elevator speeches, especially when we're doing a preview for the coming show. And the other thing we're going to talk about, which is very important, and I am very pleased to be able to connect you to Kerry Leigh, who's the executive director of the Natural Land Institute. They are attempting to protect Bell Bowl Prairie at Chicago Rockford International Airport. You know, we've talked about that on our show now for months. The bulldozers are being fired up and ready to roll on March 1st, which would wipe out about 5 acres of high quality dry gravel prairie. And if that just sounds like a what? It means a lot in Illinois, because in Illinois, it's probably fully 1/4 of that kind of prairie left in the state. And as you know, we've been talking to many people about why it's important to save that prairie. And Doug, people wrote on the Facebook page for Save Bell Bowl Prairie, they said, we should talk to Doug Tallamy. And so I wrote to you, and you said, well, I'm not really sure there's much I can do. Why do you say that?
Well, you know, sometimes I get discouraged. These are political issues. It's not about whether or not it's important ecologically to save this. It absolutely is. And there's no question about it. All the science supports it. This is an entire biome, the tallgrass prairie, that is, you know, almost totally gone. So these little remnants, there are our future in terms of seed stock, genetic variability. There's no question we have to save these, because the object is we're going to expand these remaining prairies and try to reclaim some of that biome so we don't lose so much biodiversity. This gets into the greater question of biodiversity decline all over the planet. You know, we've lost 3 billion breeding birds in the US in the last 50 years. That's almost 1/3 of our bird population already gone. UN says we're going to lose 1 million species. We are killing the nature that supports human life on planet Earth. That's not an option, I don't think. You know.
No, it is not. So
this is one drop in the bucket, and people say, "Well, it's only one drop," but everybody's dropping all over the place. You know, so they add up. And that's why this one is just as important as any other one, particularly if there are alternatives. It's not just another patch of weeds.
Very well spoken. And it's good to see you getting passionate about this, because well, it's the only thing that's going to save this prairie is if people rise up and get passionate and make other people realize that this is not an option to destroy this prairie. It is just on a planet that, as you said, is already going through the 6th mass extinction. We cannot afford to lose an acre. We cannot afford to lose anything. We cannot afford to lose. The rusty patch bumblebee has been found on this plot of land. So you can't do this. At any rate,
that used to be one of the most common bumblebees in the East. And in short order, it's almost extinct. So the fact that you've got a little remnant there, that's really important. Yeah. And the reason I was discouraged in the beginning, it's because, like I said, it's a political issue. We've got to convince the people in charge that if they do this, we're going to vote them out of office. And that takes public uprising. It takes public pressure. Right now, they think they can do anything they want because they always have and gotten away with it, because not enough people are tuned in to the value of these things. If we say this is important, don't mess with it or you're out, they won't mess with it. They don't want to lose their jobs. I guarantee it. But so far they've gotten away.
They have, and that's the part of the problem. But they can't be allowed to get away with it any longer. That's Doug Tallamy. He's going to be with us on Sunday with Kerry Leigh, Executive Director of the Natural Land Institute. And because we want to tell a positive story as well, we're going to have Debra Behrens from the Prairie Enthusiasts in Wisconsin, who just got a grant to save 300 acres of prairie. And you're going to be speaking to their group in February, aren't you?
If you say so. I don't know where I'm going to go tomorrow.
Well, you're scheduled, just to let you know that you're scheduled. So I'll have her talk to you on Sunday and explain what you're doing in February. Doug Tallamy, so looking forward to our conversation on Sunday. For folks watching this, go to the Mike Nowak Show on Facebook and please subscribe to our channel. We'll be on at 9 a.m. Central with the author of this book, The Nature of Oaks. That's Doug Tallamy. We'll see you on Sunday.